Hi everyone, it's Karen here with a simple and easy friendship card tutorial. Enjoy! I created this sweet friendship card using Distress Oxide Inks, Vicky Botan products, and Hero Art stamps. As always, all the links of the products are in the description area below. First, I took a Hero Arts bird stamp. This is a layering stamp and it's called Bird and Branch. I took the first part of the stamp, which is the bottom layer, and using Distress Oxide Ink Broken China, stamped the first layer, which is the back of the bird. I did this twice so I could get a lot of the ink on the background. I cleaned it off, and then I took the second layer, which is the middle part of the layer of the bird. And this time I used the Wilted Violet color, which is a purple color, and again stamped it on the other layer twice so I could get a very strong purple color on the background. Finally, I took the third part of the bird, which is the top layer, and I used Faded Jean to stamp it. And this was the darkest color because you should always start with the lightest color when you're doing the layered stamp and the darkest at the end, so it only highlights the certain details of the stamp. Then I took the feet of the bird, which is another separate stamp which you don't have to add, and I just stamped it underneath the other bird with the Faded Jean color. The next step that was to stamp a few of the flowers that come in the set, and they're also layered flowers, so they're mini flowers. So I took the Broken China and stamped the bottom part of the flower, and then I took the smaller stamp, which is there's two sizes of the actual flowers, and I stamped it as well. Then I took the second layer of each flower and using the Wilted Violet purple color added some design to the flower because the top layer looks different than the bottom. And you have to line it up in order for the flower to come out the proper way, which sometimes is hard. That's how you see me turning it around a little bit until I figure out which way the flower goes. The next step was to create the branch that the bird sits on. I could have used the actual branch that came in this stamp set, but I wanted to create a bigger branch. To create these branches, first I wanted to stain a watercolor paper. I took some Distress Oxide ink in the Walnut stain color and just added it to my mat to create a few stainings in the background. However, it wasn't dark enough when it was watered down. So what I did is I took a sponge applicator and just applied a lot of dark brown pigment onto my watercolor paper. This allowed me to have a lot of color for the branches. Then I took my sprayer and I just splattered a few drops onto the background to create this really nice looking wood grain kind of effect in the background. And I went on it over again with my sponge applicator and did it again to enhance those wood splatters, kind of wood grain splatters that I created, because it looks kind of like an old tree. And that was the perfect color for my branches. I used a Vicky Botan stamp and die set. It's a brand new stamp and die set. This is the one that has the branches and the leaves, which is beautiful. The first thing I did is I took the Walnut Stain Distress Oxide ink and just stamped all three branches onto my background. Then I took the leaves as well, and using the peeled paint Distress Oxide ink, which is a green in color, I stamped all 3 leaves, and I did 2 sets of them because I wasn't sure how many leaves I would want for my card. Once I had stamped all the leaves and the branches, I took the die cutting pieces and I lined them up on the branches and the leaves so I could run them through my die cutting machine. First I lined them up, each one, and then I used a little bit of washi tape to just hold them in place when I was running them through the machine. I had to do the leaves, of course, twice because I had doubled them up. So here I am sandwiching them between the 2 plates, and then when I ran them through the machine, and they came out perfectly, and they were perfect as I had my own die cuts, branches and leaves. And then of course I ran it again through the machine for the other leaves so I could have the 2 sets in case I needed extra leaves for the card. I wanted to have a watercolor style background, so I took Spice Marmalade and Fossilized Amber from the Distress Oxide Inks, and I created a really nice splattered background, which is a technique I've already shown in a different card set. All you do is you put some of the ink on the mat, this is a Ken Oliver mat, and it's really good because it cleans really easily afterwards. Then I spray the ink with a little bit of water and then dab it on top of the paper. Just press the paper into it. Here I'm adding some vintage photo color as well, so I could add a little bit of darker tones. The nice way of doing it is that you should really heat set between layers to be able to get this really nice stained looking effect. Next step, which I also used my vintage photo Distress Oxide ink. I made a mistake and didn't hit record on time, so I'm just repeating the steps just to show you what I did, although it's already on the background. First I edged my borders with the vintage photo ink, and then I took the stamp from the Vicky Botan set, which is a script stamp that kind of gives it a really nice distress bottom script, and I just stamped it onto the background, both top and bottom. Then I sprayed a little bit of water on top of the stamped images to create a kind of distress look. Now it was time to assemble my card. I cut out the bird and all the flowers with my scissors, and then took some tape runner and started assembling the branches and the leaves and the bird the way I liked it. I could have used a Xyron sticker maker here, but I truly couldn't find it, so this was my best solution. I could have also used soft matte gel, but I just figured I could just manage and glue these branches and the flowers and leaves using my tape runner. It was hard to kind of figure out where I wanted the leaves and the flowers, and I started playing around with them, and I liked that the leaves were kind of sticking out a little bit from the background because I knew I was going to have another paper underneath where the card is, the base of the card, so I knew I could have them stick out a little bit. It would look much nicer that way. took one of the sentiments from the same stamp set. It says, "Dear friend," and I just thought it was perfect for a friendship card. I stamped a sentiment using vintage photo as well. Then finally I took a piece of cardstock from, this is a Botan cardstock. It has like little dots on it, and it's perfect for, it was just looks so nice for the card background. I guess you could have used a score pal here to fold it, but I didn't have patience to go and get it. So I just went and glued the card on top of this with some foam tape to raise it a little bit and make it look as if it's coming out of the background. At this point I decided to move the flowers around a little bit because I like this way better, and then I took some Distress stickles in the wild honey color and added some embellishments to the flowers and the bird. Finally, I thought it would be a good idea to stamp a sentiment inside the card, so I took another one of the stamps, which is, it says "You mean a lot to me," and I used the vintage photo ink to just stamp it inside the card. Thank you so much for watching. For more inspiration, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye!